We are based in Helsinki and Zurich, and we are architects and urban designers. And in all our projects we are very interested and also dedicated to the topic of urbanity in all its aspects. Today I'm here because I was curating a workshop, the international workshop on Mistecekyi Arsenal. For this we made an open call and we received a long list of applications from which we choose 21 architects, artists and urban designers. And they started to work on this week's Monday, right in this building, because the workshop is about this building. And they had the task to work on spatial development scenarios on the one hand, and on the other hand on the topic of first action pop-up, that's how we called it. I have to say it was amazing to see how motivated they are and how talented they also are. And I'm very happy to announce now the first team. Actually, one thing before. After each presentation, there will be 4 presentations. There's a possibility to ask questions. So we will have a discussion round. And we also, for this, invited guests. On the one hand, there's Julia Vaganova from the Mistecekyi Arsenal, because we were from the beginning curating also directly or collaborating together with them, trying to find their main interests for the workshop, which we also try to integrate now in the work. And on the other hand, there's Andrius Nimitskas from the CANactions school. And Julia Vaganova will shortly also give her short intro on their thoughts.
Thank you, Mirjam. Yes, we are guests, but we are hosts also. I will talk very shortly that in the end of the last year, the team of the CANactions came to us with a proposal to make the CANactions this year in Arsenal, and we started to think that it's a very good idea, and we really would like to work with this institution, with this great institution, great team. And for us, of course, will be interesting to see what kind of win-win project could we get in this collaboration. And the workshop, of course, it's the best idea how to communicate about the problems of the urbanism, about the problems which have Arsenal. This is a huge institution, I mean, the huge by concept and huge by space. And we clearly understand that we need a lot of time to build it. So our question to team who works with the projects was what kind of ideas could be, I mean, architectural one, space one, could be developed if we talk about Arsenal and its building. We asked about, and we were open, that it could be very big ideas, I mean about the space around the Arsenal, but also could be small one, transition one, which helps us to go through this stage to the another when the Arsenal will be finished as a cultural institution, as a museum, as a space for communication and presentation of different projects. And we thank you very much to the Mirjam and tutors who worked with the groups, and of course to the CANaction team. We hope that really result will be very interesting, and we wait for it. Thank you very much.
So I will hand over the phone to the microphone to the first team, which will. Can someone? I will change the slide. Can someone help with this? Doesn't work. Next slide, please.
Good morning, everybody. I'm representing the team of Natalie, Samuel, Maria, Yevgenia, Alina, and myself, of course, Rob. And I would like to talk about our project. It's Arsenal, a place for people without visas. But before I start this presentation, I also want to give you this quote. It's from Lieutenant General Ivan Mella, engineer architect of the Mistecki Arsenal, and when he designed and completed the building, he said, the time will come and you will see that I built this construction not for the fortress but for the people. And we think this quote, it really fits our project very well. So right now, we found out that the current ambitions of the Arsenal are mainly to promote art and, in Kyiv and Ukraine. And we think for such a large building, such a large site with so many potentials, that this ambition is a little bit either too ambitious or not ambitious enough. It is very ambitious because we think it will take a very long time to fill the building with art, and at the same time we think this arsenal could be so much more. So the main idea is that for art you also need a certain amount of culture, and to produce culture you need to have people involved. And if you want to involve people in the Mistecki Arsenal, we think it's very important to adopt these values we gathered. These values are to make the arsenal accessible for everybody, inclusive for everybody, to make it a sustainable building, profitable, inviting for everyone, to have it open and make it a real public space, a public place to be. Right now you can see when you look at all the actors that are involved in the Mistecki Arsenal, there are already a lot, but most of them focused on the art sector. And we think that by inviting more actors to this project, this arsenal can develop into a bigger project of bigger importance for Kyiv and Ukraine. And we do that on 3 layers. The first is a layer of the complete site, including all the ramparts and green areas around it. The second layer is the building, and the third layer is the identity of the Mistecki Arsenal. Well, I will first guide you through the actions we propose on the site. All of these actions are in the top right corner. We try to indicate how much energy it will cost to start these actions, how many money it will cost, how many commitment you need from the community. And the idea is that we start with small actions which have a great impact, a great influence, and from that you can build on to bigger actions, more influence, etc. So the first act is to open up the site. Right now this is the entrance of the Mistecki Arsenal, and to be honest, right now it is very closed. It's very uninviting. There's a wall, and you have to go through the gate to get tickets, and then you're at the inside. We propose to open up this place, make it more attractive, more inviting, by removing the wall and add some street furniture. But if you open up the site, you also need to start cleaning it up. Right now it's a mess. There's weeds everywhere, there's garbage. So, and this is also a great way to involve the community in opening up the site. Well, after this, you can go to bigger steps. So, if you enter the site, this is the place you will first see. Like if you read this picture, at the back is the Mistecki Arsenal. On that side is the wall, and this is not really attractive at all. Right now, during this festival they make good use of it, but during other festivities there's not much going on. So by adding a cafe run by a developer, you can both make money, activate the site with an attractive function, and also by adding some street furniture, you can brand this place as a public place. Then we go another step further. Right now the whole site is still a little bit overgrown. There are wild dogs over there. It's not a safe place for children to play. Well, by opening it up again, well, wild dogs have no place to hide. It will be nicer to play soccer or anything else. And this also is something you can do together with the community. If we go even more further, you can also start other activities. You can find them on the map. One of the most important ones, but costs a lot of energy and money, is by uncovering the ramparts, the old ground walls that are there. If you remove this fence and take the trees out, you can make a good scenic route along the area, and you have a great view over the area, and also have the historical reference of the landscape. And also the inner courtyard is now full of archaeological artifacts, and if you can make this accessible and show the artifacts that are there, this can be a public place inside the building itself. Well, and if you do all these things, you can work towards some kind of a master plan, but of course this is never a finished image. You can still continue working on it. But by adopting all these actions, you can achieve the values we already spoke about. On the scale of the building, we also have a few proposals, starting small with moving the ticket office. If you remove the wall, you also have to move the ticket office. But that's an easy thing to do, because it can be right at the spot where it is now. After that, to make the upper and lower floors accessible, you need to add elevators, so it will be an inclusive place. And then we propose to open up the building further by inviting artists to have their working studio over there. And later on, I'm not going to mention them all, but you can add a more diverse program to the whole building, so you can invite the whole community to the building. In terms of identity, for this layer we also have a few proposals. The first one is really simple. The current website it's very difficult to get tickets. The website is broken. In English it doesn't work. It's very difficult to find a calendar of activities that go on. So it's really hard to find out what is happening here. So fix all these things, and also make sure that you're very visible on the social media. A lot of people get their information from these sources, so it's important to be there, both in the Ukrainian language as in the English language. And also, by inviting these artists in residence, you can make the building more... well, this is also a part about the... to get the identity of the Arsenal a little bit better. By inviting them, the site will be more normal. On the scale of the city and the nation, you need to be visible in brochures, maybe even in the streets. If you could actually paint your name on the Maidan Square and show with arrows which way to go, then you could connect it to the current city we propose. And then when you do all that, well, maybe you can go international. Here we chose a picture of the Louvre in Paris. To our opinion, it's a 20th century arts institute. It is an ambition that the Mistecький Arsenal was looking for. We had the idea, but we think it's an outdated concept. We think that the Mistecький Arsenal should instead try to achieve to become the human cultural capital of the 21st century. It can be done, but then you need to do some changes in the way you manage it. Right now, the Arsenal is managed by the state. but it has its few limitations in terms of time, in terms of commitment from the community, and in terms of money. You cannot raise funds in a good way. So this is actually the management system as we uncovered it. And we propose to add a development foundation. This one can raise funds and involve the public in the way the Arsenal could be run. And the community can be supported by experts and leaders in the way how you can run it. So the state still owns the Arsenal, but the management is given to a more wider group of managers and advisors. And by this, and I'll get a nice list, by adopting the values of an open, inclusive, attractive, accessible, public, inviting and sustainable and profitable Mistecekyi Arsenal, and by making these small steps with great influence, the Arsenal site will become the human cultural capital of the 21st century. If you like our story, we're hanging in room 6. We have a booklet over there, we have posters over there, so please visit us after the presentation. Thank you for your time. Where's my team? Come up. So if there are any questions, we would like to answer them now. Yes.
Can you talk a bit about any ideas the team might have had from programming or asset, museum or institution asset point of view, targeting for this idea of the human cultural capital of the 21st century? It's an intriguing concept, but not very clear.
Yeah, I'll pass this answer to.
I'm sorry, can you repeat a question?
This concept of the Arsenal being a human capital, human cultural capital for the 21st century, it's, I think, a very intriguing one. But I wanted to have a better understanding if the team had any ideas on what that really meant and how that would be represented through the assets that they have here.
Yes, thank you for your question, Andres. Yeah, the overall vision and concept of our team is to make Arsenal closer to people, and it means to not try to be just an art and culture institution, but try to be a human-centered institution, which means to foster human interactions at different levels, human interactions between just public people who can access and freely the most part of the territory, and also to engage to foster this community engagement so that the Arsenal will really lead and become the community center here, and also to foster human interactions at the level between artists and painters and scholars, so that artists can have not just exhibit here, but actually create ideas, create meanings in this place. And for this you can add artist studios in the Arsenal, and you can also use the existing buildings for artistic residency, and collaborate with international artists. So we just want to, the major idea is really to focus attention from just art and culture, from objects, but more to people, because people is the capital of the 21st century, and Arsenal should capitalize as much, and both on community level, to have community support so that they can fundraise money, and then they can have more clear organizational structure and invite community and opinion leaders to the advisory board, so that all this more about people, not only about the Arsenal's building. This is the main idea.
Okay, actually I would like also to add that in our strategy that we have already created for Mistecekyi Arsenal till the year of 230, we have proposed different directions of the development of this space, and have invented some types of events that definitely should be held right here. So our proposal is to organize here some events connected to art business promotion. So in our opinion, it's extremely important to encourage young artists, young people for their personal and art development. So we are going to hold some labs here, some international art exhibitions and so on. And actually, as it was said before, we consider Arsenal place for people, so also there will be some educational workshops, promotion knowledge and promoting human rights. Actually, it is important to say that one of the values of the CANactions Festival is the point that the city is people. So our opinion, our vision of Arsenal in the year of 230 is Arsenal, a place for people, a city in the city. Thank you for the question.
Ще? Я лечу, ось він, я.
I want to thank the team for starting out the way you did and not just coming up with an idea about a place that's open for the people just as some sort of modern concept, but you went back to the source. You found a quote from the architect, the person who envisioned this place in the beginning. So it's not some sort of imagined reality, but it's the initial intent that this place was created, and you've now tried to modernize it. And given the context, and with architecture, with planning, everything must be done in context to be impactful. And I want to thank the team for not forgetting that in this place, at this time, the country isn't for the people, it's for the elite. This institution, the territory, is not for the people. It is controlled by and used by the elite. And it's shameful that it's been done that way. It's encouraging that the new management of the Arsenal is hopefully, and I say hopefully because it's yet to be seen, on a path toward opening up this institution, and I very much hope that it reflects this fundamental idea that you're talking about, being open and focused for the people, because there's far too little of that in Ukraine right now. So thank you.
Thank you. We thought maybe we will make the comment in the end of our presentations. Oh, just we would like.
I think we'll have like more strategic and summarizing comments at the end of the whole discussion, right? I'm writing down all my ideas. So.
And Solomon also, as my partner, about the light that we are all here. It means that the team of the Arsenal is working, that the place is open for everyone and for different institutions. It's really a lot of project which is not closed for the people and not only for the political elite.
Okay, thank you very much. And now it's time for the next team.
Hey, so we need our slide, please. Oh, you can do it. I'd like to start with our manifesto. The Ukrainian art scene is awakening. Right now, there are plenty of art platforms, creative organizations, and cultural festivals arising. Young people like you stand up for their rights and dreams and create a new identity for their country and for their generation. But at the same time, there's a shortage of available space for creativity to take place and to allow for regular self-sustaining cultural projects that can operate independently from state funding and from European grants. On the other hand, we have Mistecький Arsenal that can provide that spatial potential. Let's bring the two together. To reach independency, the public cannot only be invited to events, it must be involved. It must be integrated and empowered. Let's create a Mistecький movement. The Arsenal Friends Club might be a start, but its numbers have to increase. So we, as a collective of young architects from different countries and different backgrounds, we only propose to the whole community a manual to unify the creative community, to liberate Arsenal, and to achieve a sustainable and self-driven operation for the long term. You can open up Arsenal for creativity and education. You can make it a space for the community and by the community. Start now and make Arsenal truly Mistecький. But rather than suggesting to you a master plan, we thought we focus on 4 precise stages, each linked to 4 precise spatial interventions. And with that, we want to introduce an action plan and the actors to make this change happen. Imagine this right now being stage 0 already. People have gathered, art platforms are here, the Mistecький Arsenal is here, and the Friends Club might be here, I don't know, and has, like, let's imagine these people have gathered and they agreed to cooperate. Then our suggestion would be as following.
The first stage should be to open the gate of Mistecький Arsenal. You have to invite the people to get in, and you must create a new public square outside the building where the people can use this space for their free time. After this, you can move the entrance not outside the building but inside the building, also with the ticket office. And at the same time, you have to build something permanent, not only like a cafeteria that could be fine for the community, but also doing some kind of workshop that the community is involved, so they can, for example, create their own furniture for this public space. If the community is involved, the community can use the space and the building starts alive again. And then, but only at the end, you have to remove the wall, because the wall could be a real problem for Mistecький Arsenal. And
then, once we already have the people inside interested in this movement, we have to maintain their interest inside. So we have this whole space which already works. So let's strengthen their strengths. Let's empower this space we already have. Mainly, you have to contact the local art scene, invite them and consult them, and let them use the space for a small exhibition so you can improve the portfolio. How to do that? We propose by simple spatial interventions to just improve what we already have. For example, by cutting off the window, the white walls in front of the windows, so we can get in the natural light and have this transparency that we're going to get. By maintaining the elements that we already have, we can add just new ones, so we can make a flexible space that can be used just as much space and energy that we need. You don't have to open the whole space all the time, but you have to let the people see that they can use it. And then we have to make the people flow into the space. Once we have the light inside, we have the spaces that we can use, small or bigger, and you have to create this flexibility and not hiding the elements that we have, but just to let people work around it. So now we have the space, now we have the people inside. What we need is to improve the entrance, to have another way of entrance.
So stage 3 in our plan, and this is now being around the time of 2025, be consequent about the entrance situation. I mean, there's a south entrance that is not being used now, and that could integrate the building even further into the city. And be consequent about this, because you can use it for different events at the same time, having one entrance here and one entrance in the south end. And then by creating this second entrance situation, open up the courtyard, because this could actually be the square for the people, for the community. And we thought, why not use this to make it even like, to stick to the plan and involve different actors. So the Friends Club, for example, let them organize the summer cinemas, let them organize concerts inside the courtyard to attract a new crowd that has not been here so far, because they might not be interested in exhibitions, but they love concerts, they love cinema. At the same time, you gather a community, you can promote your Friends Club, you can promote the funding from the community instead of relying on huge grants from public institutions. And with all this happening, we thought of like this movement is going inside the building, and we like spread around and we imagine a lot, but we haven't really thought about the artists yet that we wanted to involve in the creative community, and we talked about their space that they might need. So let's settle down for these in our final stage, stage 4.
As we already heard before, the Mistecki Arsenal is not only about the exhibition, it's also about the importance of the people. So in the last stage, we proposed that we create this shared community, this co-working space for creative minds to not only come here to see these spaces, but also work together. And this we proposed for the second floor, where this place can be open for competition for local architects and international architects that can propose here a co-working space where they can function together, workshops, educational spaces, working spaces. And because we know that the rent is it's high at Mistecki Arsenal, we propose to use the verticality of the space. So the artists not only, or the creative minds not only will share their ideas in this place, they will share also the space itself, they will share the economics and everything. So this is our proposal. Now it's up to you.
Thank you.
Питання, відповіді, заклики, questions.
And yeah, I also want to say we have Daniel in our team. He is also very fluent in Ukrainian. If there's a Ukrainian question, we can also answer to that.
Okay. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thank you for sharing ideas with us. I would like to know if you have keep in contact with someone of friend of Arsenal to know about their ideas.
Okay, so when we came here, my impression was that this already was this place organized by like a non-profit organization. And then only during the workshop we found out that it is an organization, and it's a great organization. We're not here to blame them for anything. Like, we're here because of them as well. But at the same time, we got into this idea that it's a state organization, and we heard about the Friends Club, and we talked a lot with the people that were around here. I have to say, honestly, we didn't have time to go and like make an appointment with people from the outside, because we spent so much time and so short time here. So I'm like, if there's anyone here that's a member of the Friends Club or that knows about the Charity Foundation, we're happy to share ideas. I just know from my working experience that this kind of concept that's from the bottom down and relying on a lot of people, but only on a small amount of money each, but on a regular basis, that you're more independent in what you do. As we said in the beginning, it should be done from the community should be the actor and also the benefiter of at the same time.
Thank you.
No to your question, I'm sorry.
Your project, I would more like try to summarize your project. I think your project was driven by the belief that the creative community could be like a catalyst actually to activate this building, and also there's a belief that actually it could be in the end also sustainable and also financially sustainable concept. What I also liked about your project is that you pointed out very simple things to improve that space, like for instance cutting these walls and then actually reusing these parts to reorganize the space, because we also realized when staying here that actually it's not very easy to use it for exhibitions. Since we are also in this building right now, we could realize that quite well. And then you brought up ideas like how to make that in steps, and I think there were really like good ideas, also like the reorganization of the area, like thinking how it actually could be run in a better way, because that's also something which we realized it's not like very easy to do, because there was another event in the last days here. So I think there are like lots of practical aspects, and I really like this idea of thinking how to integrate the community, like thinking about the community and thinking this institution as a cultural institution, not only a place for art or trying to find an umbrella for it.
I'd like to pick up on where Mirjam touched on, is this activation of the space here as a platform that I think can help solve some of the financial issues, right? To help bring in community-based revenues, not just focused on external grants or corporate-sponsored projects, but a common, constant flow of people here to come here to watch art cinema or have events in the courtyard. And I think the physical representation of your overall idea, again, about openness, taking the walls down, creating a courtyard that invites people into the territory of the Arsenal, and then they can get their tickets if they choose to, but they can still use this amazing place. The territory here is spectacular. So I love that physical embodiment of this idea to open the institution and make it more accessible. I think that's a really, really strong point of yours. I love the settlement idea of having the second floor, creating a second floor space that will allow, again, a platform for local artists to be involved on a daily basis, right? And to populate this place with not just their physical presence, but their creativity. And it then becomes a living building. It's not just a place where you stick art on the walls and people come in now and then and walk around. It's a living, breathing institution that can reflect the values and priorities of the institution. And so I think it's another really powerful idea, and I hope it resonates with the leadership. So thank you.
Thank you.
Я прошу, чтобы меня кто-нибудь перевел. Мое советское прошлое – это моя проблема незнания английского языка. Я хотел бы спросить, во-первых, очень благодарю и поздравляю вас. Вы сделали огромную работу за короткий срок. Я сейчас услышал моего друга Эндрюс Немицкас. Вот с его речи я одну идею попробую объяснить. Да, простите. Я хотел бы выяснить, понять, вот киевская сторона, вот мы, Киев, когда вы приехали работать, что мы вам предложили, будущее Мистецкого Арсенала? Это музей истории искусства Украины, это музей современного искусства или это выставочный культурный центр? Вот какой ваш вывод, над каким проектом вы поработали? Вот что вам предложила украинская сторона? Вот я хочу понять, простите, что вот в конце у вас уже проекты, идеи есть. Перевод.
Можете чуть конкретнее конкретизировать вопрос, пожалуйста?
Все идеи, которые вот я услышал, как Мистецкий Арсенал будет развиваться, да, вот будет парк, будет, это супер, прекрасно, будет пространство, где концерты, это прекрасно, да, вход замечательный, чтобы это стало, город хотел там участвовать. Я хочу понять для себя содержание, что там в Мистецком Арсенале будет. Будет ли там такое пространство, где выставляется произведение искусства, истории украинской культуры? Или это мы оставляем на другой музей? Я просто хочу понять, что вы поняли, что мы знаем. Понимаете, я не конфликтную ситуацию хочу.
Yeah. Okay. So, I hope I got you wrong. Not wrong. I mean, I hope the translation was good. We had this one story that was really striking us, that there is the art communities in Kyiv and in the Ukraine.
One moment, please.
Sorry.
We have to solve one problem because you have only one speaker phone. And
couldn't get more.
our interpreter or translator, could you please come to stage and translate after they talk? Like some kind of fun today. Yeah, please.
Could you sum up what the question was for the audience?
I think his key point was, will it be used
for the audience? I got it.
Will Art Arsenal be used for purposes of exhibition of Ukrainian art and Ukrainian history, and specifically history of Ukrainian art?
So our main idea was to get the contemporary art scene, like the young people inside the building. So, because what they, from our understanding, what they're lacking is a platform, like a permanent stage where they can work and where they can meet and where they can, as we said in the final stage, settle down. On one hand,
pause and please translation.
Ну, я перекладу цю фразу. Наша ідея була залучити людей, які зараз на сьогоднішній день приймають участь у розробці нових творчих людей і дати їм таку площадку для співпраці, взаємодії, бо я так розумію, що у цьому найбільша потреба на даний момент, так? So, as much as I understand, this is the greatest need. Is that?
Yeah. And then,
як вони в цьому
but at the same time, having this great exhibition space that is working now, that people know and people like, to maintain it for any event, like also for international exhibitions, for whatever comes in. But the focus was, there's a group that is already active, but it's lacking a space. And here we have a great space with an organization team. We wanted to merge them, bring them together. That was the main focus, as like from the architectural point of view. Like we are interested in space at first, and whatever comes from the activist side, we also have to imagine it. And yeah.
І продовження питання.
Там був приклад.
Я думаю, что, Борис, они не поняли ваш вопрос просто. Да, можно я переведу, сформулирую его?
I'm sorry, I think that maybe it was a misinterpretation of the question of the Boris. As I understood, the question of the Boris was if, was the team of Arsenal, so I mean our team, clear with in the papers and with the presentation which we gave to you before the beginning of your workshop, and if it was clear in these papers what is the mission and the vision of this institution in the future, what it has to be by ideas of the team now. Is it has to be the museum, or is it has to be exhibition expo or something like that? Is it was clear for you from these papers which you got before the start your work?
Okay, I think the mission was clear, but at the same time, it was pointed out that the dependence from the state makes it quite hard for you to invest and to imagine further in the future, because you get a grant each year. You said you're not able to hire people. It's hard to work as a community, because I mean, I'm not saying you're not a community, but first of all, you're a state organization, and I think there's a difference. So we thought, like, not to substitute it. It's still state property, the building, but to bring in the people not only for these great events, but to like empower them, involve them, and keep them here, like give them the platform. I think that's the.
Дякую вам за оперативну допомогу. У них просто одна тільки апаратура на всю команду.
I guess the point I wanted to touch on, so Boris asked a very important question for the operations of the museum. Are they focused on art? Are they focused on history? So what is the content of...
Дозвольте коментар.
But I want to make a very important clarifying point, which is the content of the museum, what it displays, what activities it has, is a separate question.
Я дуже перепрошую, дорогі друзі, але давайте, можливо, maybe this part of discussion we can continue after these presentations, because it takes too much time.
I can appreciate it takes too much time, but this is a critical point, because there's a confusion between I think the fundamental idea of what the teams might have been doing and what was actually done. And my point is this: what they've focused on are, as I see it, two things: fundamental principles that might drive the mission of the organization. This idea of openness being one, this idea of the museum being for the people being the second. Those ideas should drive the
programming, the content that the museum, whether that takes the form of history or contemporary art is a separate question, but the focus of the architectural teams are on making suggestions, ideas for physical changes to the environment here that reflect the fundamental values that they've also put forward. And how that's embodied in the content and the programming of the museum is a separate question that is up to the management to decide.
Thank you for the discussion, but we are running late with time, so we have to go to the next presentation. I think to some of the questions which arise, we will also maybe have other inputs, so it's worth seeing the rest.
Давайте подякуємо цій команді. І поки у нас змінюються команди,
I just want to say that we are happy to discuss every question you have, because we are really interested in this project and we will love to know what you think about that. So we will be around with our presentation over there. So welcome to talk to us.
I mean, it already started. I mean, this was already the first step, the gathering, the discussion. I mean, thanks for your action.
Now it's your turn, and we mean next team, okay? Дорогі друзі, поки в нас зміни на сцені, я нагадаю, що для тих, хто не розуміє англійської мови, працюють наші перекладачі. Безкоштовні навушники для синхронного перекладу можна отримати на вході до зали. Dear English speakers, if you need Ukrainian into English translation, please use free speakerphones. You can get there in the entrance to this room. And now it's your turn.
So, okay, I guess we can start. I would like to start with the phrase that our team are graphic designers in this big world of architectures. So our presentation won't take long, don't worry. So first of all, we would like to start with our impressions of the Mistecький Arsenal, that it is large space. It is passing by structure, and in somehow it has a strange separation. Sometimes it's not a comfortable place, and it is immersive territory. Why it is not comfortable place? Because it has a vicious circle, so sometimes it is hard that you cannot move from one part to another like straightly. You have to go all around this circle.
So actually we decided that the arsenal looks actually like this, and it's the passing by structures. So you come, you not stay here, just go around and go out or go up or something like this. And we decide how to make it really us, close to us, simpler, and take a small part and just to play with it, make something interesting, make it flexible, make it possible to combine and to build these buildings, but not with the bricks, but with people and something inside. So we decided that it is actually the museum of the future, as we was asked to suppose to how the identity, as we understand Mistecький Arsenal, feel themselves, as they really want to see here this museums of art and history and exposition space, but actually how we understand this. And that was like space for...
Okay, thank you. So our keywords for the Arsenal are develop, create, and play. We thought about the art and how we see the art of the future. And we want the galleries become a place where people are making this art. So you can develop here your skills. It means that you can attend different lectures or workshops. You can create, because arts is becoming more interactive. And of course, to have fun, to play and to develop yourself. Okay, and we thought that Arsenal could be a platform for creative development. It is made by you.
And actually how it looks like, so it's different, so it's made the walls by people and what they can and what they propose to do this. So it's dancers, urbanists, architects, makers, people with disabilities, elderly people, and everyone who really can come and to propose some event here and to do this. And actually it will be great that Arsenal would have this real actors game to people to come, for example, every month to propose their thing and have some place, this incubator for ideas for Arsenal where everybody can come and to share it. And actually we invite you to our place, which is the two spaces at the left, to come to our space and really share it, really try to how to make the Arsenal, how you see it, and how you want it to will work. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
I just want to say thank you for your addition to the conversation. I particularly like, your overall idea about getting the place activated by inviting people in, and the overall space is a reflection of the idea of creation, of interaction and involvement. These are wonderful principles. And certainly the whole museum might not operate that way, but if even one small part could be dedicated to those ideals, I think that would be a very strong addition to the institution.
Thank you.
So since this was just a small project in the context of the other ones, I would suggest that we move to the next one, which is the last team.
So we are a group of 7 designers, architects, and thinkers from almost 7 different countries, which I thought was amazing. And our take on the project, you can go to the next one. The other way around. Well, you'll see all the slides before. No surprise.
Excuse me?
Yes. This way. Okay. So our take on this very big challenge that was given to us these past 5 days was to interpret and understand the things that are going on here and how they could be improved and made a little bit different. So we started with the actual word arsenal, which is used in many languages, and the etymology of the word is from the Arabic. It actually means house of art and industry. And then later on, as you all know, it became really a place to produce weapons. But in today's world, for Ukraine to also rebuild its collection of contemporary art, we propose that art be the weapons, hence the name of our team's project. Art is the weapon, and that art be produced at Mistecki Arsenal. If I understand right, Mistecki's also mean artistical, so this is the artistical house of art. And we devised a residency program. Actually, it's more like a residency system because it includes both a program and a physical infrastructure. Yeah. And which actually could layer over any type of development that the environment could move into. In 5 days, I don't think we were able to really figure out the bigger picture, but we are very happy that the work that we've done can actually produce a discussion around what the main mission of the building might be. So the idea is to layer over the existing space a system of residency cabins and pods that residents from the whole world and from Ukraine could come and live in and at the same time produce their work. So this is basically what we have been doing as a team for 5 days. So we decided to test this on ourselves, and we considered ourselves residents, and we really want to thank everybody for letting us work together and discover what each other had to bring to the team and create this project that we invite you to come also visit us after the presentations. In our space, we built a few things. You can, yeah. In our space, which I hope you can come by later on, we built an installation that includes a map of the whole arsenal at 1 to 50 to show how small our space was in comparison to the whole building. And then this 3D structure, which we designed and then built to invite an artist, Polina, who came and spent the whole day with us yesterday to create her art for the arsenal. And we also included a sound and light installation to try and bring the city within the thick walls of the arsenal. So I'm going to have everyone explain a little bit the parts that they worked more specifically on, but it was really a collaboration.
Okay. Yeah, so while thinking about the larger scale solution for the arsenal, we proposed this grid, which was inspired by the Bernard Tschumi idea, which can overlay on the existing plan, and on the intersection of this grid, which is 50 by 50 meters, will appear gradually cabins for artists, residents from all over the world who can come here to work, to live, and produce art for the galleries of the arsenal. And this could be different kind of artists, painters, or other creative people, and which includes not only creation of some pieces of art, but also creation of interactive art or workshops, studios, and so on. So this is just an example of a cabin which can be placed in the territory of the arsenal, where the artist will come to stay for a certain time. And this is the actual scale and how many of these cabins we can fit into the space. So the first can be started somewhere here and be like an experiment, and after that they can grow and grow, and in this way we can enforce collaboration between artists from all over the world who will come, stay here, and use the space of the arsenal, which he has plenty. Another examples. And so
I will talk about the installation.
itself. Yes. So the installation was conceived for us to present the concept to the people that come to Arsenal. Basically, it's a way for them to see how an artist would live and work in this space. To create it, basically the entire installation was created from scavenged materials from around Arsenal. We found these steel structures that were really interesting because we could use them to create spaces, but they're basically flexible spaces that the artist could personalize as they see fit. We just basically suggested some spaces. We have a living space where they have a place to sit, a bed, a table, where they can work on their ideas, and the bigger space, which is the working space where they can create their art. People can come inside the installation and basically live as an artist and see an artist create their art. These are a few images. Basically, we also tried to work with scale. We have, you can see on the floor plan, we drew the Arsenal plan. We wanted to play with the scale. Basically, you can see the scale and how huge this place is, which makes you feel really small. And then you have the installation, which is at a human scale, in a space that's basically at a machine scale, which is Arsenal. Of course, our installation is already constructed. You can visit it in room 6, and we invite you all to do so. And the most important part, basically, this installation was created for an artist, which is Paulina. She's a local Ukrainian painter, and she was suggested to us by Boris, and we would like to thank him for this. And she's now in the installation painting one of her creations, and you could also come and see her work there. I think it's about the same.
Our installation also include sound and light performance. We try to break in the city into the building with sound and some photos. We recorded some sounds and take some photos. And the photos from the Arsenal and the Lavra Monastery squares, from church, and sounds from the Dnipro River and from the Arsenal train station. We want to the visitor think about the link between the city and the Arsenal. Yeah.
And I was interacting with the people. I made a construction such you see, and I'm holding these values right now in hands, and I've analyzed it, and it will be in our in our report. There was one question that I was asking people, what values they would love to implement here in the space. And I picked one of the highest one. It turns out about the city, so it could be a city in a city. So it's about Genius Lotzi, that urban space is a space for the people, and about specifically this space, people said that they would love to create here something. So creation is a really valuable, state for our interpreters in this space. So. Our composition was like a strategy. Even for us, it was a strategical thing because we were first interpreters of this art residence, and we've made a collaboration together. So we were a community for 5 and 6 days, and it was a model situation for us, maybe a model situation, a game for Arsenal to see what it will be from this time till to future. And our composition also was about opening windows. So we metaphorically made an image of an window that was closed. So for us it is to open maybe walls and to open to people, to communities. So this was an object, a physical object of the strategy. Thank you for your attention.
Are there questions or comments to this project? Yeah.
Большое вам спасибо. Мне была радость с первого дня с вами общаться. Вот идея, которую вы предложили, в течение 15 лет разные галереи, разные культурные институции пытались такую идею делать. У нас ничего не получилось. Да, это очень важно для нас. Поэтому в связи с этим я хочу вот что спросить. Опять-таки, сейчас, когда Украина открылась миру, и когда сюда приезжают люди, у которых нам есть чему научиться, в данном случае прекрасные, молодые, красивые, креативные дизайнеры, архитекторы. Мне, я думаю, многим из нас очень интересно, вот, что когда уедут вот эти профессионалы, у нас остается надежда, что дальше будет продолжаться работа, да? Что бы вы хотели сказать, что вам понравилось, как мы умеем работать? Мы, я имею в виду Киев, Украина, CANactions, да, и все, Арсенал Мистецкий, что у нас получается и что вам не хватило, чтобы вы более успешно вот эти дни поработали. Может быть, какой-то принципиальной вещи не хватило, понимаете, а мы не замечаем. Вот что бы вы хотели сказать, вот в хорошем, добром смысле, покритиковать, потребовать, понимаете, нам это важно понимать во всех ситуациях.
I can answer, but I'll have everyone say a few words. For me, what I would really have liked would be a few more days to see Kyiv, because I've been in here for 5 days and I feel like I haven't really seen. I'm glad that you all came because I didn't go out in the city to meet anybody.
Please use microphone.
Maybe more communication with the local artists and finding out their vision about this place would be good.
And I also think that this space must be more open to the people coming from the outside. I'm thinking of this place more like a place where it's like an art hub. People can come and work, people can come and see, they can come and meet each other at cafes that other teams had proposed. It's very important because now it's like a huge wall that it's only open in certain days for you to visit, see some expos, and then you have to get out. I think this should be a house of art where people can come in and is always open to them and is always open to art.
So I'd like to make a comment as well to thank the team for an idea which, as Boris mentioned, maybe it's been in some ways used before, but there's an important point that might have been skipped over. I mean, I saw it there, but I didn't hear you discuss much about it, which is the exchange that happens in a situation like this. The museum offers up space, which it has a tremendous amount of. And in return for the artist being here, living in this creative space, in return the museum gets a contribution from the artist. From an artist that it recognizes as an important Ukrainian artist, it gets new art into its collection for its long-term use. And I don't know if that was made clear in the presentation enough that the rest of the audience caught it. I did, but just very, very briefly. But for me, that's really the heart. I shouldn't say the heart. That's, let's say, an important mechanism. The heart is actually physically being here and populating the space with these creative Ukrainians who have something important to contribute. But this mechanism, this exchange between the artists and the museum, makes it a living place with a memory then that lives on in the assets that the museum has to share with the rest of Ukraine and the world. So thank you for that.
Can I add something? So at this graphic, you can see how Arsenal is giving a key to artists, and in the exchange, it gets collection from artists and also human resources from it.
Another image that, for us, what was really important was for the artists in residence to see themselves in the building, which I think we really have in those 5 days, and also for the building itself to really see itself in the residence that it's inviting. So there has to be this reciprocal trust for this to work.
So I've been told, is there some, yeah?
Sorry for monopolizing the microphone. But I also wanted to point out how amazingly resourceful your team was by simply going around and finding things that existed here already, using those found items and creating a very realistic space that is actually being used. Your resourcefulness is really impressive, and thank you again for that.
Okay, I've been told we have to finish, but actually I would like to give the word to the Arsenal management as a final summary
If you allow
of
us
this
to come
from your side now.
Thank you so much. My name is Solomia Borshash. I'm a colleague of Yulia Vaganova. So we are both in the team who tries to actually enable your ideas and implement your ideas into life, and not only your ideas, but the ideas of our team. So what we heard today, we are really inspired of the young energy which came with the workshop. Thank you so much for the organization and for those who presented their ideas. What I've personally, I think Yulia will agree with me, what we've to which conclusion we came is that we are actually, as a team, on the right track, on the right way, because all the ideas of yours well actually resonated with ours, which we are now discussing for the 10th month, since we are here for 10 months only. So I have a few comments from my side, and maybe afterwards Yulia will add it. So the thing is, which really I liked, and it was your concept, Arsenal for people. arsenal and art as a weapon. It's really a good idea, and that's what I think we'll implement in our external communication, and that these are good ideas. The other thing is dream big. Thank you so much for this, and actually that's what we do here. The building is monumentous, and it actually enables us to dream big and to really plan big. I'm a financial person in my first stage of career, and I usually also think about resources once I dream big. So all our ideas, just to clarify, all your ideas and make it like more implementable and explain what we'll do in the next 10 years. Your ideas, part of your ideas are actually, that's what we thought about like last year. It has been said in our strategy. Maybe you must have seen it, right? About the strategy. So our plan is really, the first thing after our first strategic session, which Olesya Ostrovska, our CEO, asked Yulia Vaganova, so Yulia, what do you want to do first? And Yulia said, like, to open this wall. This was the first thing. Another thing, and like our Mistecki Arsenal institution has 4 main core values. One of the 4 core values is critical and responsible thinking. Having said that, we have this wall to be an artwork of Ukrainian artist called, I'm sorry, I don't know his, so his name is Helsinkizurich. So if you remember this wall, which you want to destroy, all of us, we have their like painting on the wall. And it's actually called, it is considered, and it is an artwork. So what we are now discussing in Art Arsenal is not whether we want or not want to destroy this wall, but how to do this. I mean, like, not destroy, but like how to replace this wall in order to preserve somebody's work and still have the place open for all of us. Another small thing which I wanted to add, that for the last 10 months, I think we,
Can I
you can, but like maybe after.
Okay.
About being open and about being people, I think it resonates our approach the most. The Art Arsenal for people is actually to be open with very small steps. With very small steps, we'll have big changes. So I've written down a few small, tiny changes, which is maybe not so much so good well communicated by our team, but to be open means to be not only open tangibly, but to be open and transparent. It's our strategy on the website. It's our reporting for the last 3 years. Balance sheet, financial results, our plans, our team, is everything on our webpage. Another thing is to be for people. We had a series of negotiations with our cafes in order to decrease prices for people, for coffee, for sandwiches, for burgers. I think that this small step is actually making Art Arsenal closer to a person, closer to a visitor. Another thing is a new small gate, which you might see near this, discussable wall. Did you see that entrance? Which we changed it and made it like, more transparent. It's another, like kind of change for us. Also about, as I started in terms of resources, all our ideas cost about $100 million. All the things with yard, with building, with the park, which we also want to do. And more or less, if we are lucky, during the year we get financing up to $2 million for reconstruction. We didn't get it last year. We hope we'll get it next year. It means that we'll have another 50 years to implement these ideas. It doesn't mean that we'll wait for 50 years. This is like a challenge and a task for our team actually to do this, to change this approach and actually make the change during 10 years' time. I think and I hope we'll do this.
I know we don't have time. I just would like to say once again, thank you very much for all your job. Really, we see that the main question and the main problem which we have now, it's our maybe communication strategy, because a lot of things we are talking inside of the team, but we do not communicate in the right way to you, to the audience, and that's why you have the feeling that we are closed and we don't have changes, or we don't will have the collection or something like that. So really thank you very much that you pointed these things, and we really clearly understand that we have to good inspiration. And I'm very happy that we are with these images, because this shows that we all have this feeling of the fluidity and no borders for the arts and for the creative ideas. So thank you very much again, and thank you for your job. Thank you.
And I want to very briefly also thank you very much for the amazing work you did in the last days. I'm really happy. I'm also very happy about this discussion today. And I really hope that we can continue this now. I would suggest that everyone who likes to discuss this further could meet us in room number 6, where we were working, and we were happy to discuss everything with you. Thanks a lot.